We have a section of society that negates whatever narrative, new developments, scientific revelations, anything. Climate change, the biggest myth is it's a natural cycle and it's nothing urgent or something issue we need to be so worried about. Countries like Pakistan, we have a little contribution, not even 1% in overall global emissions. My name is Shafqat Aziz. I'm head of climate change at Freedom Gate Prosperity FGP. What is the biggest myth regarding climate change? Well, it's always a segment in society. It's all over the world, not just in Pakistan. We have a section of society that negates whatever narrative, new developments, scientific revelations, anything. The segment of naysayers would be always there, and without any research, evidence, scientific backing, they would just say, we don't believe in this phenomena or thing. Likewise, in climate change, the biggest myth is it's a natural cycle and it's nothing urgent or something issue we need to be so worried about. Yes, to some extent, it's always a natural cycle. We have the event of climate change in recorded history. But what we are missing here is the main core thing is the human-induced climate change has now been so rapid. The human activity, fossil fuel, other development, and irresponsible development, emission, too much emissions have made this cycle unsustainable, rapid, and we are not prepared, we are not aligned with this rapid climate change. We do not have coping mechanisms, systems in place, resilience, we lack in resilience building. So natural cycle is there, but human activities and human-induced climate change has made it so complex. Have we already crossed a point of no return or touched it? Yes, it's a very complex thing to say. There are some effects that are irreversible. We have global warming to extent that may not be reversed. Even we stop all emission and we stop all unsustainable industrial activities, it may not be reversed. The loss of glaciers, loss of many species has already damages done. Yes, what we can do is reduce future emissions, mitigations, and besides, we are not totally able to stop climate change. At least we can have a better resilience. We can adapt to new lifestyle. We may say there are several happenings that are becoming new normal, and we have to adapt with new normal. We have to make our agriculture sustainable. We have to change our pattern of life. If we are talking about agriculture, we have to change our sowing and growing patterns, new seeds, technology, use of technology. We may change our lifestyle, like we are now more prone to floods and other natural calamities. So adaptation, preparedness, better preparedness is the need of time, and that's the only way forward for us because these happenings are beyond human control. Green tech can reduce the climate destruction. Yes, to some extent, new technologies in agriculture and other mechanisms, agriculture practices, but we need to drastically cut fossil fuel. That is the first thing. The use of fossil fuel. Smart climate clean energy is one answer, but issue is how we can introduce these scientific technologies to a massive level, mass scale. That can't be done without the involvement of governments, corporates. Of course, individuals come later, but first it is the policies, how government introduced these changes at community levels, at district levels, at agricultural communities, farmers communities. These cannot be done by just individuals. We need fundamental changes, and this has to be done rapidly and massively at ground level. So we need policies shift, policies change, and implementation, and this need to be done at a fast pace because post time is running out, and we have to at least cap this global warming at some points. We have already crossing the threshold. The main thing is, yes, technology is a beautiful thing. It could be very effective. What is the scale of these technologies? What is the use of these technologies? That is beyond just individuals. It depends on policies. Yes, if we continue with who is to be blamed for all this, the answer is we all to some extent, because somehow we all are contributing into this emission, global warming, industrialization, but if we dig it deep, developed countries to be blamed at first place because the irresponsible development that occurred in last century and is continuing somehow. It has contributed into global warming and emissions beyond a sustainable level. When we say countries like Pakistan, we have a little contribution, not even 1% in overall global emissions. The main contributor are the developed countries, but we cannot absolve from our responsibilities. We have to do our best for mitigation plans, reduce emission, use of smart, clean energy, and but beyond that, the governments mainly, then corporate sector, the companies who are into G sector that have contributed into this madly emission race and use of and promotion of fossil fuel. But then in the individual, because lack of awareness and not knowing the impacts of our collective negligence. But again, it's on the government to make their population more aware and involve youth, involve communities, and spread mass level awareness on responsible, sustainable agriculture practices, sustainable living, sustainable other adaptation plans in life, especially in industry and agriculture. It's a combination of all, but mainly the policies should be effectively reflected at the ground level with communities and more awareness needed. The next is there any hope? Yes, there is always a hope. We have now more sensitized youth, we have now more sensitized communities, and at Freedom Great Prosperity, the same thing we are trying to do is to reach out to communities at district level, to engage youth, to engage communities for a sustainable practices, better green livelihoods, introduce them to how they can have a better earning while adapting climate change resilient agriculture practices and other green businesses. There is still hope, and there are groups that are actively now pursuing demanding climate change action at community level. Then there is growing global cooperation, and the governments and other NGOs, international NGOs are now collaborating, raise more awareness and the policy shift, real climate action at ground level. That is hope. Hope is activism at youth level, at community level, but this need to be done at a faster pace and facilitated by the government and international community. Thank you.